Cole.
Morning, sir. Morning, sir. Morning, sir. How you doing?
Hey, I'm doing just fine. Always a pleasure to have you with us in this studio here.
Thank you.
I know you've always had a lot to talk about. Being a broadcaster, singer-songwriter, producer, and all those things. Not too many people in broadcasting who are that talented and can do the things that you do. So
I appreciate
it's
it.
commendable.
I appreciate it.
So we're talking about looking for a place so we can have a peace of mind. Are we talking about Ocherous?
Well, Ocherous is always a good place to go find your peace of mind, but I'm hoping that more so people show up with their peace of mind. You have your peace of mind within and you just don't lose it, more than anything else. Because sometimes we already have it, but we give it up real easy. You know what I mean?
I've thought about peace of mind with G. Cole because I know he hails from one of my favorite parishes. My next favorite to Trelawney, Saint Anne, has a lot to offer. There's no doubt about that. Is it considered the capital, the tourist capital of Jamaica?
Ocherous. Yeah. The tourist capital of Jamaica. Yep.
At that time, we thought Parliament was going to give them some kind of competition, but no, you're standing firm.
Wow, we're holding on the spot. We're holding on the spot. We're not giving it up.
So you were able to produce some new songs, and I've always wondered how you find the time to do it. But there's no doubt about that. You love both professions, broadcasting and as a recording artist.
Yeah.
And it takes some time to put it together.
It does. It does, especially because most of the stuff that we do, if not all, is live musicianship. And most of the musicians, we try our endeavor best to deliver the best. So we want to work with the best folks. And a lot of the people that are from my band are also out there on the road. So sometimes this person's on tour, that person's on tour. So we just wait until the pieces are back together. And sometimes we'll do it with some people here and then some people not. But the good thing about it is we're not in a rush, not in a hurry. And like, for example, the latest single that we released was actually January. And I said, I'm going to give myself up until August to promote that song and push that song and have people soak it in. Because I also don't like when somebody sends me a song today to play on the air and then they're calling me in 2 weeks with something new, because truthfully, I might not even have gotten to that song yet. And if you look at most of the other genres, the more successful commercially genres, those artists will put out a record or an album and they're touring and working that record for a year. And you wonder why they get the traction and so forth that they do, and we struggle to do that. It's because we have this disposability about the music. Something dropped Monday, Friday we have another one.
It's very interesting, that you can speak from both perspectives as a broadcaster and a singer, songwriter. And you mentioned something a while ago that I've had that kind of experience here. Someone leaves a song or a record, CD at the studio, and they expect you to hear it right away. And they call you within a week and say, I don't hear you playing the song. Or if you happen to play a couple of times, they will call you, and how's the response?
Yeah.
So now you
are doing PR, you're doing promo, you're doing the whole nine. It's almost like you're a part of the team now.
And it's a lot of.
I don't think people are conscious of the fact that
when you
get a song from them,
you already got
900. It's like when somebody call you from a fireplace and say, "Yo, John T, the holidays are here. Send me a thing." No,
not realizing
that you're calling number 58.
That already
called me for a thing. So if they tell you, say, but it's a better like that. You gotta realize that others have come before you. So don't be patient. Arlo.
It's interesting the amount of songs that we get, in the studios to be aired.
Mm-hmm.
And then one person will be like, no, my one must be given priority because my one is a bad tune.
Everybody can song is
they would never know the amount of songs that you get. Sometimes to go through my computer and say all the songs that they have sent me, sometimes it takes me months.
Just to get
it. Because you have a certain amount of songs on rotation. You can't rotate all the songs. And you have to give it some time. You have to broadcast it some time. But I don't know. Some just don't understand. My tune is the bad tune. I need to be aired.
knowledge of
the business is one thing, and I mean
from different vantage
points, and different angles. So
again, if
everybody sends me a song, I'd rather say, and I've explained it to all of the artists. So you know what, I got a song from you today.
And I have a song from
somebody else yesterday. I need to keep playing that song so people become familiar with it. If you ask me or expect me to remove that song from the rotation and slide yours in the mix, then what happens when somebody else comes in and asks me to remove yours from the rotation and slide theirs in the mix? So let's just give it all the attention and the priority that it needs and deserves. And I might not get to it. There's songs that I haven't gotten to for months. But when I get to it, it's such a good record that we just keep playing the record. And the thing is, just work on our project, and in 6 months, a year ain't gonna be dated. If it's dated, then let me know that it's something that only have a 2-week shelf life, and we see what we can do.
One of the things that they need to understand is some songs are just marketable more than some, because some have the kind of vibe, and some it takes a long time for people to gravitate to certain songs, and some people never gravitate to it. Depends on how it is produced and the lyrical contents. Most songs certainly will have to have a hook. Some don't.
Yeah.
You are a singer, you're a songwriter, producer. Maybe you want to explain to our listeners what a hook is?
From two vantage points. One, it's pretty much the chorus, the part of the song that's supposed to catch the folks, right? In older days, it was just referred to as a chorus. Nowadays, it's referred to as the hook, primarily because literally it's supposed to hook the masses. So it's the part that if nobody remembers anything about the song, that's what they need to remember. I give some people credit that, like the Sean Pauls of the world. A lot of people cannot sing the verse to the Sean Paul song, but he's always made sure that the hook is as close to English as possible, so the whole world can sing the hook. You might have a na 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 the verse, but when you get to the hook, you get to the hook. So it's embedded in your mind, and that's what you gravitate to. When I'm writing a song, the hook is normally the first part, and the part that I focus on the most.
Let me give an example to some of the listeners too. Dale Robinson has a song about money, and it was arranged by Dean Fraser. Tarrus Riley used the same rhythm and gave a song called "She's Royal." Don't say you love me when you see my money. It's the same arrangement. Just the introduction of that sax that makes a difference to "She's Royal." But whenever you put that song on, the people are waiting for the hook, because everybody's gonna say "She's Royal," and that's what we're talking about here. Nice for the broadcaster and Fred in the studio with it. That's what is called the hook, because we are waiting for it. They don't even want to know about the rest of the lyrics. They just want to wait for the hook.
Just give me the hook.
Put that on, everybody's gonna sing, and that's what some of the songs are lacking. They don't have the hook.
A good hook. I've heard many songs come my way, and sometimes they come pre-released too. Like sometimes, I'm not a fan of it, but it does happen where people say, "Hey, give me your opinion on this." And I'm not a fan of it because a lot of times people aren't asking for your opinion. They're asking for you to echo a sentiment. They're asking for a cosign. So when you send me something and say, "Gee, what do you think about this?" What you're really asking me is, "It's good, right?" Tell me, say it's good. But for the most part, I'll give my honest opinion. And sometimes it requires a hook. Why? I can separate myself from the broadcaster chair to the artist chair to just the fans chair. Many people are in one chair. Even the people who create music, a lot of times, if you check their personal music collection, it's not much. They don't listen to music, they don't consume music. So I oftentimes put myself in a position of just a fan, just a listener. It doesn't have to be the best produced song, because some of your biggest hits aren't the best produced songs. Some of your best produced songs are not the biggest hits. So sometimes I will just put myself in a seat as the song bad art not bad. Is it something that I want to listen to? And then my metrics nowadays is, would I give you my 99 cents? That's kind of where I'm at with it. Anytime we have the conversation, I'm like, would I give you my 99 cents on iTunes for this one? Produced well or not? Just is the song bad? It have a hook?
Talking to G. Cole this morning, broadcast, a singer-songwriter in the studio with me this morning. And always a pleasure to have him with us, because so much information, so much we can learn. Here's another one by him, G. Cole.
Someone tell me where she goes, with no pressure, the lyrics, high heels on. Has your feet up, out to the fire. They told me this is where you're hanging out. And so I keep oh down, just to see what the fuck is going on. And then I make you mine. high heels on. Over in the corner, dancing to a favorite song. In a red dress, lipstick with high heels on. Over in the corner, grooving to a favorite song. Someone's down at the club on a Friday night, trying to find something to do. Find out a DJ knows.
J. Cole, this is a beautiful song, no doubt about it. Tell me some more about this particular song.
Oh, that
You know, that one's actually produced by Ed Robinson, right? Yeah, man. Reggae Global. That one was produced. That one came out last. What do we know? 2023. My days are running into one. I think it was end of 2021 into 2022, and it's a juggling. It's a compilation project. So when that one came over to me, something about the rhythm just grabbed me right away. And a lot of times when I'm writing songs, I do them by myself. I am not one of those people who like to write in the studio. I have folks that I write with and they love the energy and the buzz of the studio. I like to be in solace because I can visualize certain things. And I literally was there listening to the rhythm and visualizing one time, going into a spot and just seeing this person's almost like a phantom figure. Hot like 10 fireside, you know what I mean? She come in and she grasps all the attention, she gone over so. And by the time you look again, she just disappeared. You know what I mean? You look over, so she that again in the corner, getting her groove on. You say, all right, I'm going to say something. When you look, she just disappear. And that's where it came from. I'm just saying, creativity at work.
You just find that it's more conducive for you to write songs. Like Dave, you've been time, tell me what's that. Because some singers, I mean, so many people that I've interviewed at the station, been here for so long, and they will tell you that they sing in the day, but at night they're off. So they turn it around.
They're off
Their
and creative.
nights are in the day. It's not easy to get a recording artist to come in the studio in the morning. They probably call from home because they said, I'm still in bed because I was up all night last night. No,
Yeah.
when do you find it easier for you to relax and create?
To create. To me, it's not a time of day thing for me. It's a vibe that was going on in my life at the time. How busy I am. Because there are times when months are going to pass and I don't create and I don't even attempt to create. I have stuff to work on and I don't because my creative juices aren't flowing. I'm distracted. But then there are times when it's flowing and after one comes another. But the major thing more so, to be honest with you, than the time frame is the music. Sometimes I write songs without music and sometimes I write it with music. If you send the rhythm to me and it speaks to me right away, like this song was written probably in a day. Right? But sometimes you get some stuff and it's pulling teeth. You have to do it because it's beneficial to you to do it based on the project, whatever it's going to bring to you, exposure, whatever. And you sit down and you channel that and, you know, day, night, whatever. But then there are some rhythms that come to you and once it hits, the things start flow like this one right here.
So you would say it's much easier then to, when you listen to the rhythm, it's easier for you to write something for the rhythm.
Mm-hmm. It is when you get a good rhythm. People put stuff together and there's not much musicality in it and it doesn't trigger your imagination. So now you're writing out a thin air. So you just start listening to the bass line, trying to mentally mute the rest of the stuff so you can write something and then you give it to them. But that may take more time. But if I was to put it at a time of day, I would probably say I do better writing at night only because there's a lot less going on and I'm going to be bothered less.
Tell me
at
about
night.
the arrangement. So this was
Yeah.
Ed's arrangement, the whole thing?
The instrumentation was already created by him. I wrote the song. I went in because he's the one that produced the rhythm. I thought it was the best thing to actually record the vocals. Because one thing with Ed Robinson is that he's great at taking vocals. A good studio engineer also. So we went in and did that. And after recording the songs, there are a couple of things that he was like, you know what? Instead of doing it all this way, how about we cut this and we do that? So we switched around some stuff, right? A lot of times you have folks that, because he's an artist, he's a singer, he's a producer, songwriter, it's easier to get somebody like that to work with. When somebody's just an engineer that presses a button, you will just go in there and literally they're just going to press that button. So he helped me to rearrange some parts in the third verse of it. And then now, when it came to the harmony time, I was like, you know what, this song needs some edge. And a lot of time I have female vocals on it. I said, probably be dope if we had some male harmonies on it. And he said, okay. And those harmonies that you hear on there, that's Ed. Yeah, man.
Where'd she go? She was in a red dress, lipstick, and high heels on. Over in the corner, dancing to a favorite song. In a red dress.
I'm listening to the lyrics, I'm just here picturing that in the video.
To a favorite song. Have you seen her?
Have you been writing for other artists? Yeah?
Yeah. Yeah, the first song I actually wrote for another artist was, I wrote a song for Singing Melody on the classic rhythm, Flavor McGregor. It's called Special Love. So I did that back then, and then I've written for J. Will, Selena Serrano, some other stuff that for people who are not in the reggae industry, some Latin artists, as Shayla Dow and stuff like that. So, and I have about 4 other songs right now that are written for others that aren't released yet, that I can't even speak on because I haven't tied up all the logistics and the paperwork on those yet. But yeah, definitely.
So the songs are, you think about an artist when you decide to write a song and say, well, I'm not going to do this one. I'm going to give it to this individual because of this one looks like him or her, the kind of lyrics. Do you carefully select an artist to record the song?
Yeah. Well, I can't say that I just sit down and construct songs and say I'm going to give them to artists. Most times I'm asked to do it. So when I'm asked to do it, it's one of 2 things. Either I kind of check into the artist and see if I can even connect with the artist. If I feel like the artist can, bring the words to life. And if they can't, then sometimes I just gracefully bow out. But for the most part, somebody will, invite you to work on a project. And a lot of times it works out well. Some people also, you want to do some work with them, and creatively things are fine. But when you look at the business aspects of it and how they operate, sometimes you have to bow out from that standpoint and just leave it be. But I mean, when it comes to just creating for others, the major thing pretty much is just getting into their psyche. Because if I'm going to write a song for John T, I can't write a G. Cole song and give it to John T. I have to get with John T and write a John T song, give it something, because you don't speak like I do. Your experiences aren't mine. So I'll talk to you, figure out what's going on. We just rap and, and by the time that day's done, I know so much about you that I can give you some words that you can connect.
I had this conversation with Barry someone a long time ago, 10, 15 years or more. And he would tell me that he says that he vibes the song. That's the word that he used. And he said that he would be just writing a song and he say, I'm not going to sing this one, This one is from Marcia Griffiths. I'm saying, Marcy, I have a song for you. He's humming it and he's singing it and he said, no.
Right.
Nice song, but this one is not for me. This one is for a lady. So,
luxury and comfort. But the thing with that though is that it's based on your luxury and your comfort too, because that's Barris. So if Barris write a song and call anybody, they're gonna take it based on the strength that is Barris. Me, if I wrote the song and I'm not familiar with the artists, I can't just reach out to an artist and say, I have a song for you. Because a lot of times they're gonna look at like, okay, are you Steely and Clevie? Are you, you know what I mean? Are you Sly and Robbie or whatever the case may be? And there's a whole bunch of, but you mentioned Barris. I have a song on my last album that when I was creating the song, I was like, I'm writing this and I'm gonna see if I can pitch it to Barris. Because we do that. We write songs and pitch it to artists. And it's called Old Days. I wanted to pitch it to Barris. By the time the song was recorded and the demo on the whole 9, I found every excuse in the book to keep the song for myself. I'm like, so Barris have one similar like this. I don't think, J-Vibe, I don't think, I don't think this. No, I'm not going to take that one. I found every excuse I could to take that song. And that one is probably one of my biggest to date.
Singer, songwriter, and broadcaster.
Had for each other was crazy and take away from the people.
There are a lot of talented singers right here in Fort Lauderdale, Miami too. And they keep on doing cover songs. Good singers. And I've always wondered, because there are quite a number of songwriters in the region. And I've always wondered if they reach out to some of these songwriters to create a song for them. Because these are really good singers, talented singers, but they have this tendency to just cover songs. And I don't think it's the right thing for them to do. Do you reach out to any of them and say, listen, I know you have a nice voice. I've listened to some of your songs, but I think I can help you.
There are 2 in particular that I've reached out to write songs for. I didn't reach out that way, saying that, you know, I mean, let me give you an original and adverse to the covers that you are doing. I just figured the person has a nice voice, they can deliver a song, and they haven't delivered some original. So I figured, you know what, I'll do some work with that person. So I reached out to them from that point. But you know, here's what I realized: a lot of people who do covers, it's not because they can't do the originals. They just feel they just want to do covers. A lot of time people are attached to a song from when they were young and they like the song, and they just want to give their spin on it. And secondly, sometimes it's familiarity. If you release a song, especially in our sphere of reggae music, if you release a song that's a cover and people recognize it, they'll gravitate toward it a lot quicker than you trying to force feed them something brand new. So one, I think it's also the audience. In this industry, and especially reggae, we do a lot of things and we look to where the damage is being done. The one place we don't look most of the time is to the audience and to the fans, because, you know, we have this mindset of the fans are always right, which they're not. All right. And feeling like, listen, if I don't give them this, they're not gonna listen to me at all. You know, but a lot of the times that's exactly what it is. Your people are scared that if I give you something from scratch, you're gonna have to learn this song, you're gonna have to familiarize this song. Whereas if I drop a song that you already know from you're a child, you're just gonna sing along.
There are too many good singers who just keep on, and this is I just want to advise them. I wanted to understand. It's not so much of a criticism, but an observation that I believe that they can do more original songs. No, there isn't anything wrong, in my opinion, doing a good cover song if you can do a good job with it. But I want you to continue to believe that that's the only thing you can do.
Good.
Because there's some wonderful singers in the region. And so if you come up with an EP,
there are some
I would like to see half and half. Give me 3 originals and some cover. And let the audience, your listening audience, the music world know that you cannot only do cover, but some originals. And I love to see that, you know. And that is my appeal to some of these wonderful singers that we have in the region. Talking to G. Cole this morning. Here's one of his productions, one of his songs.
Just a girl of the block that was hot that I crushed. So the vibe that we had for each other was crazy intense, but we hid it from the people around us. They never could find out the things that we did. So we kept it a secret that no one could find out. Now look at you, I know your story and the way you used to be. Oh girl, you know we've been cool since we were 3. Oh yes, you showed me you were young and fine and free. I ain't never gonna judge you, you ain't gotta pretend for me. A lot of time has gone by in our lives. We got kids, I got 3, you got 2. I see your family a lot on TV, and I like all the.
Another beautiful song, I must say.
But I'm starting to see all the things that I wanted and hurry.
You know, the last time we spoke on this program, I asked a question. I think it's worth repeating this question to you because I listen to you pretty often, and I've always wondered why I don't think your songs are on rotation. Why?
You know what? I blame myself for a lot of that because, for example, this is the latest single. This came out late January. I haven't found the time to come sit with John T from January. So it wasn't like I was reaching out and you were like, I'm busy, can't come, whatever the case may be. So I take the responsibility for that because I've been traveling. Radio does take a lot of my time. And to be honest with you, I get a lot more gratification, sad as it sounds, putting the other stuff out there than mine. So a lot of time I get caught up in doing other stuff and I do forget a lot of times to push my own. But right now I decide, you know what? It is time. I'm going to take a couple months and give it its time also. And plus I gave the song some time to breathe. So now when I go and talk to people about it, it's a new song, but it's a familiar song.
Giving you this gift, the ability to write song, the ability to be a broadcaster. I really wouldn't have a problem to hear you play some of your songs more often in your program. And I don't want to call you, I just listen. And I said, I'm going to see if he's going to play any of his songs tonight.
Yeah. I get that a lot. I get that. But here's the other thing about it, you know. As an artist, it's the gift and the curse, you know. Because if I decide, you know what, I'm gonna drop 3 or 4 G Cole in the mix each time I'm on, right? Any artist that sent me a song I didn't hear them song, I'm gonna say 3 opportunities that they could have heard one of their songs. But because I'm the narcissist sitting down there in the studio, I played 3 more G Cole songs. You know, silly as it sounds, but these things do play a fact. And
So what are we looking now? We have quite a number of songs. Do you have an EP as we speak? An EP out?
no, I have a full length album that I'm working on. It's a concept album. Going to be featuring some special folks in production and musicianship and maybe even collaborations. The reason I don't even mention a lot of times that there's a project coming out is because I don't want to rush it and I don't have a delivery date. And I purposely don't want to have a delivery date. So it's going to be a concept album though. Narrated concept album. And it comes out hopefully early 2024. Some of these songs, 2 of the songs you hear on here will be on it. But majority of the stuff's going to be new. When it comes to, and we don't do things for awards and whatnot, but when it comes to a lot of the entities that recognize the music, some of them don't necessarily recognize the EPs. So that's the reason why I'd probably rather put than to do an EP. So it's always going to be an album. I don't think you'll probably ever see me release it.
Sounds good to me. Listen, it's always a pleasure to have you here with us, man. And the information, the education. And I just want you to continue doing what you're doing. You know you're a blessed man. You're a man of humility. Yeah, but you know that you're probably one of the most respected and admired broadcasters in the Caribbean community. And I use that word broadcaster. I want to make people know that there's a difference between a broadcaster and just a DJ. When they listen to you, they'll know what I mean. We're coming from a background in Jamaica where back then, you're much younger than I am, so well, back then there were 4 radio stations when I left Jamaica. RGR, where they AM and FM, JBC Radio 1, JBC Radio 2, but now they have 29 stations. And that as the broadcasters are not what they used to be, you know. Quality of broadcasting is not what it used to be, but it's what it is. Thanks again for coming by, G. Cole. All the best in your musical career, and as also in your broadcasting career. Good to have you with us. All the best to you now, and thanks again for coming in. My pleasure.
Thanks for having me.
G. Cole, our special guest this morning on the Spotlight. He keeps the standard going in singing and in broadcasting. Please join me again next Friday morning at 10 minutes after 9 for the edition. Getting a little bit of tongue tie here. Another edition of Spotlight next Friday morning at 10 after 9. G. Cole, our guest this morning.
Just a girl up the block that was hot, that I crushed on a lot. We were kids, so the vibe that we had for each other was crazy intense, but we didn't. Kaboom!